Mohatu was one of the oldest and most legendary kings of the Pride Lands. But as I mentioned in his video, he also has a brother, the Selfish Lion, commonly known by the name of Choyo. There are a lot of theories surrounding him due to the scarcity of information provided by the book The Brightest Star, the only book where Mohatu and Choyo are mentioned. What we can understand from this book is that, as the name says, the Selfish Lion is a selfish lion, making him the main antagonist of the story. Another curious fact is that Choyo strongly resembles Scar. This opens the door to a bunch of other theories that we'll speak about before telling you the story, so you'll be able to better understand the whole plot. Number 1. Choyo is Mohatu's adopted brother. According to this theory, the Selfish Lion was found abandoned in the Outlands. This would explain his facial features, including his typical Outlander nose, slim face and body type, and this would also be the reason of his malicious temperament. In my opinion, genetics make a lot of sense with this theory. Number 2. Choyo is Uru's father. Choyo would have found a mate in his adulthood, probably from the Pride Lands or another pride, with whom he had a child. This child is Uru, who in the future will become mother of Mufasa and Scar. This would make him Scar's grandfather, and as you probably noticed, Scar and Mufasa are very different. Scar looking like an outsider, even if he was born in the Pride Lands. It is possible if we claim that Mufasa took most of his genes from Ahadi, while Scar took his from Uru. Maybe this is why Uru, most of the time, is represented with Outlander face and a head stripe, just as Zira. Number 3. Choyo is Mohatu's biological brother. To use this theory, we obviously have to discard the previous ones. According to this theory, Choyo would be Mohatu's biological brother, meaning that they both come from the same parents. If that's the case, this theory fits perfectly with the next one. Number 4. Choyo is Zira's grandfather. Some of you suggested that Choyo could be Zira's father. Unfortunately though, that is not possible as Zira is about the same age as Scar. That would mean that Choyo has to be Ahadi's age, and as we know, he lived during Mohatu's years, not Ahadi's. It could be possible that Choyo is Zira's grandfather if he had a son with an outsider lioness. Who knows? Could their son be the strange lion? The problem is that this would leave a big question mark on why Uru has a net stripe and Scar has Outlander facial features. Though, as nothing is confirmed, it is not wrong to use this theory if you want to make your own story based on this. As you just saw, these theories differ a lot from each other, forcing you to choose them in couple. First couple, 1 and 2, second couple, 3 and 4. I chose the first couple, meaning that my story is based off of the first and second theory. So finally, here it is, the story of the Selfish Lion. Some of the following scenes may be scary or intense for some viewers. You have been warned. A long time ago, in the Pride Lands, two lions, who were the king and the queen of that time, had a cub. His name was Mohatu. He grew in a very unstable environment, as the Pride was fairly new. We are not sure of when the Pride Lands were founded, but there were still lots of unexplored places, as the Elephant Graveyard for example, or the Outlands. No one still had the courage to go explore, and there were many rumors surrounding those places. While Mohatu was growing, their parents noticed that he was different from the rest of lions. He was very helpful to everyone and active from a very young age. But he was also brave, or too much some would say. Mohatu, not satisfied with frivolous explanations and myths, he decided to go exploring the far lands, even knowing he wasn't allowed to go there. While exploring in the outsides, he found a dark and spine-chilling place. There were bones and skeletons of what looked like giant animals who have been dead for a long time now. But Mohatu's courage was stronger, and he decided to venture into this fearful place. This place was the Elephant Graveyard. After a while walking inside, he started hearing some noises nearby, and after following these sounds, he suddenly noticed a little lion. This lion was clearly lost and was too young to know how to communicate with others. He was a cub almost. Mohatu approached the little lion, and though he was very scared, was successfully convinced by Mohatu to follow him back to the Bridelands. That same night they arrived home, and Mohatu's parents took the wise choice to adopt and take care of this little lion. They called him Choyo. Choyo and Mohatu grew as best friends and almost brothers. It was a new life for both. Choyo didn't even remember what happened before he was rescued, as he was too young. But the important thing is that he was growing happily and safely in the Bridelands. During his childhood, Choyo started noticing that the king of the Bridelands spent more time with Mohatu than with him. Mohatu was always learning new things, and Choyo felt left aside. During the years he started questioning himself, till he finally asked Mohatu what was the reason behind this. He confusedly looked at him, probably surprised that Choyo didn't know the answer, but he explained him anyways, without any concern, as it was the most basic and natural thing for him. He, Mohatu, one day was going to be the new king of the Bridelands. In that moment, everything changed. The envy for Mohatu was too much. Their friendship collapsed. Choyo didn't remember that. He was too young at the time he was adopted to know that he wasn't going to inherit the throne. Probably because of his outlander genes, or just his strange personality, he developed a strong hate for the whole pride, and decided to take care of himself from now on. He never slept in the Pride Rock again, and plotted against Mohatu for many years, till he finally became king. Choyo's life was now based on just disrupting Mohatu's plans, trying to make him look bad in front of others, and just thinking about himself when it came to anything. One thing that Choyo could have done was to kill Mohatu, but he never even tried despite all of his envy and hate, because inside of his heart he felt that it would be frightful to take away the life of the lion who saved him from death while he was a cub. No, he couldn't, and he didn't. In the next years, Choyo met a very kind and gentle lioness. We are not sure if she was descendant from another pride, but she was living in the Bridelands. Her name was Amani. It was thanks to her if Choyo never caused major problems inside the pride, except for the annoying issues and selfish episodes, but nothing too heavy. Amani was the only one that had the patience to take care of him, but she was willing to make the sacrifice as she loved him and wanted him to become a better lion one day. Amani and Choyo had a cub. This cub was Uru. Several years passed, and in the meanwhile, Uru met Hadi, the son of Mohatu. They grew together, and one day, after they became queen and king of the Bridelands, Uru gave birth to their firstborn, Mufasa. Some years later, Scar was born. He was Mufasa's brother. Scar immediately looked different, and the Outlander's traits were clearly visible. This is one of the reasons why Choyo, now Scar and Mufasa's grandfather, spent a lot of time with Scar instead of Mufasa. He felt identified with him, and also saw him as an opportunity to get revenge. From a very young age, Scar was indoctrinated by Choyo into hating his brother Mufasa and put himself against his father Ahadi. Choyo was alone. Amani died some time ago, and he was very old now. He asked Scar to promise him to complete his mission of taking over the Brightlands. Some weeks later, Choyo passed away of old age. Scar promised himself that he would do literally anything to avenge him and accomplish his mission. Plus, he felt that everything was unfair and against him. This was the result of a long but deep indoctrination from his grandfather. It had come to an extreme, and this is when Scar killed Mufasa, his own brother. A thing that even Choyo wouldn't have done to Mohatu. The dark years came, the goal was accomplished, evil won over good. Scar was living the dream of his grandfather, or at least he was, but for a short time. The reign of Scar was destroyed overnight, the hyenas were banished and the Brightlands returned to being a peaceful land. And all this thanks to the return of Simba to the Brightlands. However, Choyo's teachings were gone beyond his death. Scar was not the last one. The selfish lion indirectly affected more than 2 generations, and his influence was never completely eradicated. It was still alive somewhere, because of someone's fault. But that's another story. The next story. This was my own fan-made story of Choyo, the selfish lion. I would like to read your own version about this story, and you can make it using the theories that you saw before, or yours if you prefer. You can then post it in the comments or in my Discord server. I will try to read it in any case. I hope you liked the video, and if so, leave a like. I always appreciate it. I'm Askari, and I wish you a good night.